I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good job. Thank you. Very good. Proud to hear that. I didn't know Father Rafferty was here. Okay. Well, I don't see him at this moment, so I just want to have a moment of silence for all our veterans, anybody in need, and all the people who have sacrificed for our country. Thank you very much. I'd like now, we're going to do the national anthem sung by Evangeline McKinley. She's a student at Suffern High School. Is she available here? Here we go. Come on up. It looks like we got a professional here, folks. Talk real good into the microphone, real close to it, okay?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, where so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much. As I said, a professional was coming up, and we have one. I would just like to, again, welcome everyone here, and I'd like to introduce the Suffern Board of our Trustees over here. We got Mr. Fred Sobman. If you'd raise your hand, Fred. Fred. We have Steve Albert over here, up there, front there. We have Frank Hagan in the back row here. Couldn't afford a front seat, okay? We have, I want to thank all the veterans and active duty personnel here today, and those that are not able to be here today. I want to thank Mike Byrne, who's a commander of American Legion. He's actually in the American Legion. He's my commander. I want to thank the Suffern High School Marching Band under the leadership of Randy Schwartz for the great job they did for us. They did three or four events already today, so most of them had to leave, but the buglers stayed with the taps. They'll do the taps for us in a little bit here, okay? I'd like to thank the professional singer, Evangeline McGinley, for singing the national anthem for us. I'd like to point out that we have our county clerk, Donna Silverman, who doesn't get all the credit she needs, but she keeps things flowing in this county very well for us. She's actually from this area ourselves here. I'd like to, Ed Day wanted to, we just mentioned he recently had an operation, so he's not here, otherwise he would have been here, okay? Elijah Melnick, he couldn't make it, but he sent Hannah from his office as his representative here. Okay, I have Supervisor Mike Specht here in the front row. I have District Attorney Tom Walsh, who's every day coming up with new innovative ways to protect our citizens in this great community. And I have Mayor Hilburn, Joseph Tershi here in the back there. I also have Bernadette Tarantino. She's a trustee up there in Hilburn. I want to thank all the Girl Scouts, all the Boy Scouts. I'd also like to mention that former Mayor James Giantina was over here to my right. Jim, if you raise your hand, please. And I also want to mention that former Mayor Mr. Markounis, he's also here. He's also in the Legion with me, myself also, okay? I had a speech, but I'm gonna shorten it a lot because of this heat here today, all right? But I will point out, thank you. It's the veterans that are clapping for that one. Memorial Day is an American holiday observed on the last Monday of May, honoring the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. It was originally known as Decoration Day, whereas they would decorate the graves of people with flowers and flags. It originated in the years following the Civil War and became a federal holiday in 1971. Many Americans observe Memorial Day by visiting cemeteries and memorials, just as we are all here today. The birthplace of Memorial Day, an early observance, started after the Civil War, which ended in the spring of 1865. The Civil War claimed more lives than any conflict in U.S. history and required the establishment of the country's first national cemetery. By the late 1860s, Americans in various towns and cities have begun holding springtime tributes, just as we are. We're part of history as it started in the 1860s. Holding these tributes for the countless fallen soldiers, decorating their graves with flowers and reciting prayers. It is unclear where exactly the tradition originated. It's thought many communities may have independently initiated their own memorial gatherings. Yet, in 1966, the federal government declared Waterloo, New York as the official birthdays of Memorial Day. That was based on the fact that they used to have a lot of gatherings like we have here with parades. But no matter what, where it started, all I have to say, the main point of honoring those who sacrificed their lives for our freedom. Unfortunately, freedom isn't free. Thank you, folks. I'd like now to introduce Michael Burns. He is the commander of the American Legion, where he will render the honors.
Thank you, Mayor. Please stand if you can while the flag is lowered to half-staff. Will Scouts Megan and Ben join me up to the podium? Please be seated. We're going to read all the names of those killed in action from Suffern. World War I, Florence W. Campbell, Henry DeBon, Abraham Doyle, John P. Fromm, George J. Lichtenstein, Henry H. Maxwell, Reuben McElree, Salvatore Vitelli, Harry S. Wanamaker. From World War II, Louis F. Etna, Charles W. Barrett, Henry Boyer, Robert Bunting, Wilmar Bunting, Richard R. Collins, Robert W. Coe, Maurice Cunahan, Theodore Cunahan, William Dawley, Louis A. DePato, Archie Eakins, James L. Ford Jr., William Frank, Gerard W. Frost, Frank A. Green Jr., J. Harold, Richard J. Keenan, Thomas R. LaFrance Jr., Mark O. LaPola, William R. McDermott, Ira C. Nicholas, Henry C. Paul Jr., Thomas A. Sutherland, Jack W. Velli, Robert E. Williams Jr., Joseph B. Wysocki. From the Korean War, Stanley Tyrell. From the Vietnam War, Robert M. Bates, John M. Horton Jr. Thank you. Thanks, Ed. All right. If I can please be joined by the wreath presenters, Eileen Horton, Jim Horton Jr., Mark Horton, John Esposito, and Pat O'Brien.
I'd like to now introduce a Medal of Honor citation is going to be read by Chief Warrant Officer Nick Murillo. Mr. Murillo, please come up.
As part of paying our respect today, I would like to take a moment and share a tradition with you that I experienced in basic training. Every morning at 4:30 a.m. in formation for PT, the cadre would read a Medal of Honor citation. As most of you know, the Medal of Honor is the highest award that this country bestows upon our warfighters. Listening to the stories of those brave warriors stopped me from feeling sorry for myself in those cold, dark mornings, if only for that moment. While approximately 3,000 Medal of Honors have been awarded, there are countless stories of heroics that go untold, lost to the sands of time. Let us take a couple of minutes today to reflect upon an example of the courage and sacrifice that our heroes display as I read to you now the Medal of Honor citation of one of those heroes, who happens to be from my hometown, Long Island, New York. The President of the United States of America, in the name of Congress, takes pride in presenting the Medal of Honor posthumously to First Lieutenant Infantry William Bradford Turner, United States Army, for extraordinary heroism on 27 December 1918 while serving with Company M, 105th Infantry, 27th Division in action at Ronzoy, France. Lieutenant Turner led a small group of men to the attack under terrific artillery and machine gun fire after they had become separated from the rest of the company in the darkness. Single-handed, he rushed an enemy machine gun which had suddenly opened fire on his group and killed the crew with his pistol. He then pressed forward to another machine gun post 25 yards away and had killed one gunner himself by the time the remainder of his detachment arrived and put the gun out of action. With the utmost bravery, he continued to lead his men over 3 lines of hostile trenches, cleaning up each one as they advanced, regardless of the fact that he had been wounded 3 times and killed several of the enemy in hand-to-hand encounters. After his pistol ammunition was exhausted, this gallant officer seized the rifle of a dead soldier, bayoneted several members of the machine gun crew, and shot the other. Upon reaching the 4th line trench, which was his objective, First Lieutenant Turner captured it with the 9 men remaining in his group and resisted a hostile counterattack until he was finally surrounded and killed. Thank you for letting me share this tradition with you, and thank you for coming out on this day we dedicate to honor our war dead. But as Lincoln said when he addressed the crowd assembled at Gettysburg 4 months after that momentous battle, we the living cannot dedicate anything to them that they had already consecrated with their own lives, but instead we must remain dedicated to the cause of liberty so that their deaths must not be in vain. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Warrant Officer Murillo. I'd like to thank Mike Burns for the excellent job of rendering honors and all the residents and families that are participating in that, people that from been in our community for generations in the past and generations to come. I'd like now to introduce Supervisor Michael Speck to maybe give a few words to you, a short few words, that is, Michael. Okay, thank you. Only because of the heat.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually was going to lead off by saying I'm going to follow the mayor's lead and keep this short. I had something prepared that was a lot longer, but it's hot. Good morning, everybody. I want to just say how proud I am to be in this Village of Suffern and to be a resident of this village, which knows how to celebrate and commemorate this day appropriately. To many people around the country, Memorial Day is a day to go shopping, buy something on sale, go to the beach, have a barbecue, and those are all fun things to do. But the real reason we have this holiday is because our country is founded on democracy and freedom, and those freedoms and that democracy would not have been preserved and would not have endured without the people who went and sacrificed for this country so that we could remain a free nation. And I just want to say that it is always inspiring to come to an event in Suffern, whether it's Memorial Day, Veterans Day commemoration, Pearl Harbor Day, or the September 11th memorial service, and see how this village and this community knows how to remember and pay tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice for all of us. So I want to thank the mayor and the village board for this inspiring ceremony today, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Speck.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for coming and supporting us, Supervisor Speck. I'd like now to introduce our distinguished district attorney, Tom Walsh, please. Come up and say a few words.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to participate today on Memorial Day. Opportunity, legacy, duty, purpose, patriotism. The reasons behind choosing military service differs from person to person. But as varied as the reasons are, there is a universal understanding. Service means sacrifice, even if that sacrifice is one's own life. The impact of this ultimate sacrifice ripples throughout our communities. A service member's death touches more than just the lives of their loved ones and friends. When their stories are shared in our neighborhoods, our homes, our schools, and our places of worship, these men and women become a part of the collective identity of our communities. Our hometowns are made stronger by their stories of valor. There is no greater sacrifice than to offer one's life for the greater good. As President Abraham Lincoln observed more than 150 years ago, this extraordinary war in which we are engaged falls heavily upon all classes of people, but most heavily upon the soldier. For it has been said, all that a man hath will he give for his life. And while all contribute of their substance, the soldier puts his life at stake and often yields it up in his country's cause, the highest merit that is due to our soldier. This is the reason why we gather here today, Memorial Day, to honor their sacrifice. Thank you, and may God bless these United States of America.
Thank you, District Attorney Walsh. Thank you very much. I wanted to thank everyone for coming out today. And I'd like to thank all the military that are here, the ones that can't be here. I'd like to thank the Suffern Fire Department for helping us participate, the Village of Suffern DPW, the Recreation Department. And I'd like to thank the Chief of Police. And I mean, it might not be the proper thing to say here, but I think as time change, it is the proper thing to say. I want this village to know and the communities to know that with all these tragedies happening in all these schools and all these children, myself, the village board, the chief of police, the district attorney will stop at nothing to protect the children of our community, all right? We are not taking this easily. We're having meetings, we're discussing it, and we care. And if you see something, please say something. I'd like to now, is Father Rafferty here or not? Then I'd like to just do another moment of silence. Father Rafferty, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Brothers and sisters, as you likely know, there is online a plethora of poems and prayers and reflections on Memorial Day, and I find so fitting this brief one here from Lieutenant Colonel retired Samuel Lombardo. This is his Memorial Day prayer. In our land of the free, it's because of those who sacrificed, whose graves you're here to see. They fought on foreign lands and across the open sea and paid the ultimate price to keep you and I free. So put all things aside and honor this most important day, which we have dedicated as our Memorial Day. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord, and may perpetual light shine always upon them. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Father Rafferty. At this point now, we're going to close the ceremony, and the Village of Suffern, the American Legion, would like to invite anyone over to a barbecue in honor of the people who have sacrificed for this country. We have hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken. Please stay. There's plenty of room for everyone. And thank you for coming. God bless America. Huh?